Sex workers of Reddit. Who was the grossest customer you've had? Had a guy who was high as a kite who wanted me to roleplay with him that I was his daughter and he was raping her. When it was over, he confided he'd done it before in real life. I had no idea whether he was still roleplaying or not. I went to my supervisor afterward and she said nothing we can do. Total anonymity. Quit and went to the police instead. Don't know what became of it. There's scat and other gross fetish stuff too, but that's the one that really haunts me. Ex-stripper. I lived and worked in a border town and we would always get so many American tourists. Our strip clubs are also full nudity. Well, one douchebag with a Texas accent wanted a refund because my pussy wasn't wet enough and didn't leave a snail trail on his lap. He also demanded a refund because he tried to slip his dick out mid-lap dance and I screamed for security. For the record, he tried to put his dick in me mid-lap dance. I have two different guys that I'll never forget. The first was one that wanted my feet to be filthy, dirty and stinky if possible. Then I had to smash one foot in his face and get him off with the other foot. The other guy wouldn't let me turn on any lights at all, and when I got undressed I touched him and found his one ball was the size of a pillow. It freaked me out so bad I told him I started my period and needed to leave pronto. There's many more, but these two guys always stand out. Way back in the day, when I was a stripper, I was giving a dance. The room was dark, and I was giving a lap dance to a usual customer. The customers were allowed to touch, as long as it wasn't any no-no zone. So I was sitting on his lap, no grinding, his hands to his side, and I randomly felt warm goo hit my back. I have no idea how I didn't notice anything sticking out, or how he managed to get off with no physical touch, but I was mortified. I got up, demanded my pay, and quickly ran to the bathroom. Had to have the bouncer escort him out. Yes, not a sex work, but a sexy worker. I work at a sex store. We have a guy whose kink is cleaning. So he went to the arcades, glory holes and cinema, and pulled all the used condoms out of the garbage can, and ate the cum in them. We also have a dude that likes to lick door knobs and another one who smells the used paper towels. Edit. Holy schmidt, I can't believe how much this blew up. Thank you all for the rewards. This is by far my most popular comment in all of social media history. Phone worker here. I had a guy wanted me to put bodily excretions roleplay on him. I was so stumped. So I said, if you've been a bad boy I'll piss on your face. If you've been a good boy I'll shit in your mouth. Cue the minute-long groaning, grunting, and screaming the guy did with what I could only assume was the filthiest, never-ending tsunami of spunk, followed with a thank you mistress. I logged off for the day and did other things. I have no problem with kinks or fetishes, but he acted like he won the lottery. Was a stripper. The ones who tell you that you look like their daughter/daughter's friend/ECT are pretty gross. Foot fetish dudes would come in at the end of the night and the sweatier your feet were the better. Most girls love them though, because they give amazing foot rubs and pay you for it. Had a guy come in and lay on the floor and pay me to try to fart on his face. He was dressed like Carlton on Bobbin Street. Honestly, a lot of girls like ones like this too. They pay really well and you don't have to really do any work. Not really a sex worker, but I stripped for a bit in college. The amount of older guys saying things to me like tell me your real age or don't worry your little secret is safe with me while grinning terribly was always gross. I look young, so that wasn't very pleasant. It got worse when they would try and blackmail me into actual sexual contact by saying they'd reveal my actual age. Fortunately I was 19 so could just tell them to go ahead and do it. Not my story, but I heard it from a friend. You know how girls will spit on your dick to lube it up before blowing you? There was this one customer who told his girl for the night that it was wasteful to spit on his dick and requested that she spit in his mouth instead. For every time she spit in his mouth, he would give her $10. I'm a part-time cam girl. One day a guy paid me $30 to watch him masturbate and barking while wearing his socks on his ears. Lasted less than a minute and it was very surprising. Edit. TKS for the silver. To clarify some point, I don't want to kink shame him. The guy was nice and polite, just wanted to share. I didn't really watched him. I had like a YouTube video on the other half of my screen and I didn't had to do anything. Excuse my bad English, not my mother tongue. My wife's best friend is a very successful cam girl. She was pregnant and some dude was paying her thousands to watch her take her pregnancy supplements. She made an absolute fortune when she was pregnant. He would make baby sounds to her while she did it. He would check in on her and make sure that she was hydrated and well fed. He started gifting organic foods over Amazon. I personally saw her play Jenga with her clothes on and dudes were bidding for which piece to move. I couldn't believe my eyes. I still don't. Someone paid her thousands to have dinner one night. She hired security and he paid for the security to make sure he didn't touch her. It became a steady gig. Free food and thousands of dollars. She started doing the GFE thing for a while too. Edit. GFE is girlfriend experience. Been getting tons of messages for this. A friend of mine worked in the office for an escort agency. The grossest story she told me was about a guy who seemed to have a thing for cutting women up with his long fingernails. After the first complaint he was put on a list of like, don't accept bookings from this guy/number, but he kept using burners and different names, and every time the girl would complain that he'd basically only want to finger them, but he had long sharp nails and had a habit of scraping, then get agitated when asked to stop, then he'd leave. Just so gross and borderline psychopathic. Edit. Okay, not borderline. Back in high school, a girl started talking to me out of the blue and said she wanted to have sex. Of course I was a bit skeptical, but I was a teenage dude and she was attractive, so whatever. Then she mentioned she doesn't like condoms and doesn't use them. Instant deal breaker. When I refused to do anything without one, all communication stopped and she tried to spread the rumor that I was gay. Edit. Just adding to the fact, we shared a class together and sat practically next to each other. Less than a week or so later she was already trying to get with another guy in the class. Not a sex worker story, but my wife used to do customer service for Amazon. This old guy used to call in, and if he got a female representative, he would ask her to read from a children's book called The Little Prince, which has the sample on its webpage. As they were reading, he would masturbate loudly. Anyway, several complaints were put in against him, but he always called in with different phone numbers, so they couldn't block him. Not sure if this fits here, but I used to make video testimonials when I was like 14 and sell them online. It was usually bunch of bullshit shitty products that I'd praised, usually just reading right of some shitty script in broken English I was sent. One day someone messaged me and asked if I could just record 30 seconds of my feet for his skincare product. Didn't have to say anything, and he was adamant I didn't show my face. He paid way over my usual rate. I have since realized it was probably some feet fetish thing. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share the video. I post new videos every other day, so don't forget to turn on channel notifications. Have a good day.